There's always just something a little off with the Cowboys in the brief Mike McCarthy era. And Steve Young yesterday went on KNBR trying to figure out exactly what it is. Listen to Steve on Thursday trying to put his finger on it.
Are just, I mean, the Cowboys to me are just, they're a really, really talented group of people. They're not, but the cohesiveness and the grit and the follow up a great game with another great game is just, they're not I don't get it. I don't see it. Every time in the last even 20 years, I thought, oh, they did it. They're coming, and then fall flat. So I'm not much for believing yet in what they have and what they're doing. I know they're super talented, and that's what they always kind of hang their hat on.
My longstanding belief in the Mike McCarthy era is that the Cowboys can't win a Super Bowl. They will find ways to screw it up. Doesn't mean they can't win games. Doesn't mean they're not a good team. Doesn't mean he's not a good coach. But they're flawed. And Steve Young is going through some of the things that he sees. They lack grit. They lack cohesiveness. They follow up a great game with another great game. They don't do that. Like there's something just off with them. And he's right. There is something just off with them. I think what's off with the Dallas Cowboys is they're a team that prefers shortcuts, which is proven in the NFL. There are no shortcuts. They prefer shortcuts. They try hollow tricks instead of just doing it right. My favorite word of 2023 is unserious, and it fits the Cowboys perfectly. They are unserious, and it stems from the coach right now. Go all the way back to the very beginning. Now, I think he's serious about a lot of things. I don't mean to – I've talked to people who played for Mike McCarthy. They like him. They think he's a good football coach. But I don't think he's a championship coach. You might say, well, he's won a championship. I know. But I don't think he's winning another one. I don't think he's winning a championship this year, which is what we're talking about. And it goes back to the beginning. Mike McCarthy, at his introductory press conference in 2020, when the Cowboys hired him, watch this.
And you spent a lot of time with a bunch of other coaches that you hired or worked with, and you said you analyzed every play or watched every play of the entire 2019 season. What is it that you learned from that experience that you think will benefit you most here?
Well, I mean, I need to confess. I mean, I told Jerry I watched every play of the 2019 season, but I wanted the job. So I haven't watched every play of the season, but it was just, I mean, you do what you got to do, right? But it was more about tracking trends and seeing what people were doing.
So he used a trick to try and get the job. He got the job. But at the end of the day, the only person he hurt was himself because he's not as prepared as he said that he was. He said he watched every play. He didn't. Okay. It was a trick, a hollow trick that in the end is not a substitution for actually doing the work. In the last 2 years, the Cowboys and 49ers have met in the postseason each year. And each year, the Cowboys have turned in some of the stupidest plays and decisions in recent NFL history. Let's go through a few of them now. John and I did a big breakdown before. You know what? We don't usually repost a lot of stuff. I might repost this 25-minute video we did from January of this year. We go through all these dumb things the Cowboys did, but here's a couple of them. This is one of my favorites. This is John and I talking about it this year, but this is from the 2021 season. So this is the 2020. Sorry, this is from the 2021 season. This is from the 2022 playoff game in Dallas.
After picking up the first down, leave their special teams unit on the field. It's first down.
I remember that.
They leave their special teams unit on the field, and Tony Romo immediately says they're trying to get the Niners to take a timeout. Shanahan and D'Amico, nobody flinches. The Cowboys don't snap the ball in time and get a delay of game penalty. This is peak idiocy. This is peak trying to throw a behind-the-back pass when a chest pass will do. The approach you're taking here for the Cowboys is not we're going to outsmart them. It's we think they're too stupid to see what's happening here.
Your
Now,
only goal down basically 2 scores, right? 2 touchdowns and 2 points is to score. To what anything that slows you down to get your offense back to continue to roll is malpractice.
It's first and 10.
That could be the low point of all their offsides and even the Dak slide at the end of the game. This moment's an all-timer. You could argue it's closer to the Chuck Pagano, Pat McAfee punt snap than I think ever gets discussed.
Hall of Fame stupid.
Yeah, great call by John. So there's 2 of me on the screen right now, and I interrupted both of us to yell that it was 1st and 10. So that was the Cowboys get a first down on a fake punt and then try to trick. It's 1st and 10. They end up with a delay of game. Stupid. They also tried this that day. Let me back this up here.
The Cowboys run a hook and lateral early in the game. The Cowboys run a hook and lateral, kind of. Except it calls for Cedric Wilson to throw a sidearm pass on the run at his own 20-yard line. This is what I'm talking about. You know who they're throwing the ball to here? Tony Pollard, who it turns out is just their best running back. But they didn't hand him the ball last year. They tried to throw him. I don't even know what you call this play.
Hook and ladder.
Kinda. But a way lower percentage. This ball went skipping out of bounds.
Yeah, they almost turn it over. I mean, they're on their own 20-yard line. Good point, Guy and John. They're on their own 20-yard line, almost turn it over. The ball goes flat out of bounds. Just, what are we doing? Now, you might remember, the best play of them all from that game. There's more. So, again, I'm probably going to repost that 25-minute video now that I'm watching these again with you guys. This clip's going to be a little loud. So, for the next 10 seconds, I'm going to give you 2 seconds to turn the volume down just a hair. This is the only clip I could find of the clip of me talking about it. You'll remember the end of the game. Cowboys desperately trying to set up a shot to win. Take a listen here.
Prove why you have to do that annoying little thing called giving the ball to the official before you. The Cowboys prove why you have to do that annoying little thing called giving the ball to the official before you snap it. Look at where Dak starts his slide. You could argue he's sliding here at the 28-yard line. He's definitely sliding here at the 27-yard line. But the Cowboys snapped the ball at the 24-yard line, and that's after the official moved it back a foot. So we might have gotten the Cowboys 4 yards with their own spot. At minimum, they got themselves 3 extra yards. That's why you don't get to spot your own ball.
So dumb. Also, the hell is going on there?
Prove why you have.
What is this? That was before we figured out, like, you don't want to cut all the way up to the side and then cut some more. You gotta leave a shelf here on the side. You end up looking, and then you put the camera right there. That's a bad look, bro. Bad look, bro. That's them. So why are they that way? When Steve Young's like, why are they that way? I think they lack grit. It's just always this way because they're trying to find shortcuts. And one thing, Kyle Shanahan, he said it this week. He said, the reason I don't really stop and smell the roses during the season is because I know I've learned the hard way. If you don't prepare, like, every game is as big as every game could possibly be, and you just take your foot off the gas a little, some gas, some brakes, it's going to bite you. And the Cowboys just lack, the way I like to say it is, I say it all the time, they're not buttoned down. They're not fully buttoned down. Now, they're talented. They're good. They're good. Mike McCarthy doesn't suck. Dak, I'm like, let's be real about it. There are a lot worse options, but they lack the thing that you have to repeatedly win in the big moments, in the biggest games, in the playoffs. They don't win in the playoffs. That's what they lack. They're unserious. And, I didn't even get to this. That one. Remember this one? Last year? That video was made before this play. Season on the line. Hey, guys. John said earlier from last year, he thought that fake punt thing was worse than the fake punt thing that had the Colts with two guys lined up over the ball. Actually, we don't think it's worse. We think the Colts were on to something. Let's try and break that sucker out. Oh, awful. Awful. So that's what you can count on. You still got to make your plays. You got to not make mistakes. But they will. They will make mistakes. They will. It's one thing for a player to make a mistake on the field. The game is moving 1,000 miles an hour. It's another thing to put your players in awful positions. And it's another thing to shoot yourself in the foot. And keep in mind, this is the guy 2 years ago on Hard Knocks. The big thing was the McCarthy thing was like mojo moments. That's what he called it. If you watch that Hard Knocks, you might remember. Mojo moments. Mojo moments was crunch time. And like, we got to be ready in the mojo moments. Well, he knows that's their weakness. He's watched those plays at least. But it's an inherent flaw that they're not fixing. It's who they are. It's who they are. Not a soul worth their salt would choose McCarthy over Shanahan. And that's okay. Shanahan's one of the best coaches in the league. McCarthy's, I'll say it again, he's a good coach. But they lack just a little something. And it goes back to, I can't get enough.
The year off.
2019 season, but I wanted the job. So 2019 season, but I wanted the job. I watched every play of the 2019 season, but I wanted the job.
Yeah. Keep in mind, he wasn't lying because he was working another job, didn't have the time, and couldn't have prepared. He had a year off. He had the time. What'd you do at the time? I watched every play. Okay. Nice, man. That's good. It's really, you couldn't do it unless you didn't have a job. Watched every play. Well, I mean, not every play. I got some printouts of some trends, though. So, shortcuts from the start, shortcuts to the end. That's who they are. And we'll see. We'll see if it shows up this week. But so far, every time they've played the Niners, it has shown up. That clip says everything. Cringe shit. Yeah, it's not a good start. I agree. Now, maybe somebody knows Jerry's like, no, Jerry thought it was funny. I didn't think Jerry thought it was that funny. Because here's what I think happened. I think Mike McCarthy told Jerry Jones, I watched every play. And then I think Jerry, when Mike was gone, was talking to other people. And he's like, that guy watched every play. How many guys do you know? Have we talked to anybody who's watched every play? He could be the first person in the history of the world to have watched every play. That's impressive. It is impressive. If he'd done it, but he didn't do it. Oh. As a kid, I was the only Niners in school full of Cowboys fans. They all Seahawks fans now. 92, 93 devastating. I hope the Niners blow the doors off them. Final straw with Elliott. Coaching, man. Coaching. It should be cringe to be that cringe. Yeah, cringe. So there you go. That's what you're watching for. The moment's going to happen on Sunday night. And when it happens, go, oh, yeah, I knew that was coming. And then watch us after the game here on YouTube live and on our podcast. You can get it on the go down in the description below. Don't forget, we're sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. Send us pictures, DM us, tag us of you enjoying your Tito's. Appreciate that. And while you're here, subscribe to this channel. It's been the pace has been picking up here, and that's awesome to see. Been doing a lot of videos, and you guys have been supporting. So thank you for your sponsorship, because when you hit that like button and when you subscribe to the channel and when you share it with somebody, you become a sponsor, just like Tito's does. Although Tito's pays us, but you help us get paid when you hit that like button. It helps, especially early. If you're watching this right now, hit that like button, because the more likes it gets, the more views it gets, the more it picks up steam, and the more it can the more it can move. So appreciate that. Will I be at the Cal game tomorrow? No, big game. Our boy, Jonathan Smith, head coach of the Beavs, been on this show. Justin Wilcox, also awesome dude, playing tomorrow night. I will not be there because I'm doing the Pac-12 Network post-game show from the studio. I'll be on the I'll probably be on the halftime and the post-game of that Cal game. And then Pac-12 After Dark, 11 p.m. Pacific Live. So you can catch that. And then back here for Niners Cowboys stuff on Sunday night and all the other NFL stuff. All right. Thanks for hanging, everybody. If you were here live, great. If you're watching it after the fact, great. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. And it's looking like a little golf today. Catch y'all soon. Later.